Hi, and welcome to S.A.F Dance Media. So what I'm going to talk about today is the placement of your hips. Now, we all have issues and problems with placement of the hips, and we don't quite understand. We hear as teachers say, don't tuck, stop sitting back, the different quotes that we hear them, but do we really understand them? Do we understand what the teacher is trying to say to you? So there's three positions that your hips can sit in. Okay, I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see the what I'm talking about. So, as you know, from here to here is my hips. Now, as naturally humans will sit and they'll have a sway or curve in their back. Generally, that means your hips are sitting backwards. So, there's my curve. I'm very comfortable, and this is how I stand naturally every day. And I only stand this way because I don't really want people to know that, go, oh look, there's an answer. So I try to disguise that. But I do that because I'm able to switch back and forth. I'm very aware of what my hips are doing. Now, in this process, with the hips sitting back like so, that means your hips are aiming behind you. So if you can see, I'm kind of drawing a line right across, and my hips are back. Now, the other thing that we tend to do when we're dancing, is we tend to want to tuck. This one, we don't see that often because it does look funny until you get corrected. But to tuck means you're going to press right here in your midsection and push everything back. It's because you're trying so hard to get that curve out of your back that you end up like this. Now my hips are going to be pointed this way, in this area. So it's kind of like I'm leading with my hips. I don't want to do that either, because when doing that, if you notice, my shoulders are sitting behind me. I don't want my shoulders behind me. And as I say in a lot of my classes, we don't walk down the street with our arms behind us, let alone do we want to put our pelvis behind us, or our shoulders behind us, excuse me. We don't want to do that because then we start walking and it looks funny, right? So, we want to attempt to put our hips in a neutral position. Now, the neutral position, if you're standing sideways, is going to be in between sitting back and in between tucking. So I want my hips to go straight down. So what I'm going to do is find that neutral position to where my shoulders, my hips, and my ankles are all in the same line. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to do that by taking my stomach and bringing my stomach in, like this, slightly, but not too much because it'll cause you to tuck. So if you put a finger here and a finger here and try to touch them together, you're going to feel your abs activate. Once your abs activate, you're going to adjust. Now, I can adjust my hips back, front, but what I want is I want them right in the middle, right there, so that my body is in one complete line. So your hips have three different ways of moving. You can sit them back, you can tuck them, which generally means your knees are bent, or put your body in a natural or a neutral position. Now, the other thing that we have to be aware of is with our hips, that I'll cover later in another tip, is your hips being able to go, if this is representing my hips, your hips are able to go up one and the other one down and on the other side. In order to do that, we have to really crunch in our sides in order to lift our hips. So if you want, try this at home, spread your feet apart and just go right and left. Swing your hips right and left, and you're going to see in your rib cage where you crunch in order to get the hips to raise on either side. Now, in order to get them even, think you have 2 metal bars up the sides of your body that's keeping your hips straight, and it will allow you to make sure that your hips are even when you're dancing. So you want to pull up right on the sides. Yeah. And that will help you when it comes to body placement. So with that being said, try this at home a few times and get familiar with where your hips are located and what your hips are doing while you're dancing. And with that being said, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch my tips and tricks here at S.A.F Dance, and I hope to see you in one of my classes very soon.